Hello everyone, welcome along to our next coach development event today, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Northumberland FA Youth Coach of the Year, Joe Danquah along.
Right, right.
Hi Joe. And basically today we're going to look at the benefits of volunteering, and Joe's just going to tell us his story. Um, And one thing I would say is in the short time I've known Joe in the last few years, I've never met a coach as passionate as inspiring, and shows so much enthusiasm about developing his own personal skills, but also others that he's working alongside and volunteering alongside. So Joe, just to start us off, if you can just give us a bit of a background into how it all began.
Yeah,
Over to you.
yeah, definitely. Cheers, Gary. Obviously, thanks for the kind words. Like you said there, I'm passionate about my personal skill, but also others, and I think it all stems down from my experiences when I was playing, or the reason why I came to England originally was because of football. So that's what I brought my family here. And as you can see there, the quote from Johan Cruyff is, "Before you can coach others, first you must learn to coach yourself." So that always stuck with me. So I kind of fell into coaching soon enough, realizing that playing wasn't really going to happen for me. And I always, until now, thought to myself, well, if I can't teach it, I'm gonna not if I can't play it, I'm gonna teach, and if I'm gonna teach, I'm gonna be the best that I can be to pass on my personal experiences to hopefully young children and make a difference that way. And that's pretty much where it started. Um, and also in terms of like mentors, which we'll talk about later on. But luckily, when I was at time at college studying, I never really thought about coaching, but Warwick Stevenson was the head of the sport at the time. And it went from one conversation, he was like, "Right, what are you doing Saturday?" I was like, "Oh, I play Northern League." He went, "Right, are you free such and such time, come and coach?" And here we are 10 years later, still doing it, still loving it. So that's kind of where it stemmed from. And it's like one of those, once you work with kids, for me, and once you're trying to pass on to kids and you have the passion for it, there's nothing better than seeing a child develop, not just for football, but also develop their personal skills and becoming a better person. And that's how it kind of continues now.
And Joe, were you one of these young footballers back in 16, 17, 18, where your passion was football, but it wasn't going to, you then got to understand that it wasn't going to happen for you, so you went into the next best thing. Would I be right in saying?
Yeah, definitely. So like some will know. Obviously, my older brother Frank was playing at Newcastle at the time, so that's why our family moved from Holland to England originally because he was signed in Newcastle, and they gave him a pro contract as it goes. And obviously, him being from Holland, he was homesick. So the next thing to do was, if they want to keep him, bring the family over. So obviously, I was playing, and then, like I said there, Gary. Luckily for me, I realized soon enough that realistically wasn't going to happen. But I also had someone tell me that I need to look at other options. So if football
Yeah.
doesn't work, where do you go? So luckily, yet again, Warwick was like, he used to have the honest conversation with me, and this goes back to your mentors, that he sat me down and said, "Look, Joe, right, I know you want to play football, and that's your passion. Great, carry on with that. That's great by me. But what are you looking at next? What can you do while you're still trying to achieve your dream and goal of becoming a footballer? And what do you like doing next?" So for me, I've always liked working with kids. So when I was at college, I used to go volunteering in schools and coach and work with kids from different nationalities, backgrounds, ability levels, and so on. And that's where I started.
Yeah.
So luckily, I was able to still play somehow, and yet again do something that was my other passion, which is coaching and teaching and helping other people.
Yeah, great, Joe. I mean, I suppose that takes us into the second slide, and the importance around volunteering within the pathway of,
Yeah.
of coaching and getting into the game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, volunteering is massive, Gary. Through volunteer, you can gain so much. I'll be honest and say that yes, you are going to have to make sacrifices. We'll talk about later on. Yes, there are things that are going to come up that you need to do, but in terms of volunteering, what it can lead to is like, on as you can see, personal development. So for me, it was it was crucial until now. I'm still volunteering. I'm still going out and watching other coaches, learning from you, learning from other coaches. It never stops. Because for me, I always think the better I am as a coach or as a teacher in my job now, the more I can give and the better I can be at what I do. So that personal development through volunteering was massive, from coaching kids, from dealing with parents, from organising fixtures, from running sporting events for the college, from being in management sporting events, SEN festivals, refereeing games, and name it, name it. I've done all of it. But through that, you learn so many personal skills that sometimes it's not until now that I realised that it's all through the volunteer experience that I had, Gary. Again, developing your knowledge and understanding of the game of individuals that went through from even now, like watching other teachers, not necessarily football, other teachers, basketball coaches, go watch, other coaches, academy coaches or other grassroots coaches, friends that you coach with, go watch them. And it's just literally about, trying to learn as much as you can, because the more you learn around the coaching and so on, when you step on the grass, just you know yourself, when you step on the grass, you feel like you can give a lot more because you know a lot more and you know how to deal with other things. And then another thing of that, which is massive, was network. So I was able to network with other people, and alongside the volunteering, you then start to build a network of people that you can go out and see, people you can go out and talk about, get into coaching, people you can talk about life in general, away from sport, people that you can trust, people that you can ask for advice, and also potential people you can use for references to get into career in sports and so on. And until now, I still use those network opportunities by going out and watching other people, going out and speak to other people, going out and tapping in their knowledge of what they do in their profession. Not necessarily sport, not necessarily football, basketball, name it. And then try and learn about their teaching skills or coaching styles, what works for them. What can I pick for them to add to what I've already got? What can I learn? What can we share?
Yeah.
And that all stems through volunteering and putting the hours in. And once you put the hours in, you get to a stage, Gary, where within yourself, me personally, within myself, things become a lot clearer. So if things happen, you've been through it and you know what's right now to deal with it.
Yeah, I think, Joe, I think you were on a recent webinar that I did with Neil Winskill and Ben Dawson, and Ben really made relevance to the doing the miles. And even now, two coaches at the very top of the professional game still doing the miles for the personal development of their own skills and knowledge.
That's you have to, because I always say, you hear me say this quite a bit, is you never stop learning. And definitely. For me, regardless of what level I get to, I've got ambitions, obviously, to go higher, coach higher, wherever I am. Even at work now, I still go and learn from other teachers, classroom teachers. I still go and, watch other stuff that I might not be strong in, or other subjects that I might not be strong in. Why? Because you never stop learning. It's always great to learn, because then you can use it in your own, your development and so on. And there's so much you can learn from just by watching another coach or another teacher, just on the sideline, on having a 5-minute conversation, or I'll tap into other people's knowledge with yourself. I ask you quite a lot around coaching. I'll speak to Stephen Harrison at the Academy quite a bit around coaching. I'll speak to other people that aren't necessarily within football, just to, learn and learn and learn.
Absolutely, and I suppose that takes us onto the next slide. You've already touched on it already, Joe, but aspiring, personal aspirations to be better at what you do. Do you just want to talk through this slide?
Yeah, so going back to the first picture, which stuck with me, I then start, looking into qualifications. So at college, I would do the level, your level 1. I was doing the BTEC at the time, level 3 sports diploma, exercise and coaching. And alongside of it, obviously you get given opportunities in part of the course. You have to then do certain hours, doing certain bits. So I would go into school. I think mine first was Color Coach Primary School, actually, doing a futsal program. But to be able to do that, you need to get qualified in futsal. So I would get a level 1 in futsal to get my knowledge and then go and do it. alongside of that, I was doing multi-skills, dodgeball level 1, basketball level 1, name it. I tried to get my hands on anything that I could at the time. And I think that also goes down to, I always got told that, you know, the saying in Nuke, shy bang get now, right? I got told that from early days. But it's if you want something, go and get it. So I used to always, I had great teachers at Time Met. Chris Wall used to help me. Kuchi at the time was a sports development officer who's now at Academy. So they used to give us students lots of opportunities to gain qualifications, get experience out there. And he used to always say, go and do this, go and do that. And it was great. Which then obviously links to the personal development. So while I was gaining qualifications, I was still developing myself, which later on, it was putting me in a strong position for career. So I had all the qualifications I needed necessarily. I was able then to develop myself personally, communication skills, leadership skills, you know, my relationship building, being how to be a role model around people, around staff, around other coaches, around kids, how to mentor other people, kids, coaches, parents. And then it also, what helped me a lot was having a coaching buddy. So having someone that you could always feed off. And until now, that person I've talked about before, Warwick, until now, I still talk to him about anything, coaching, teaching. What do you think? How do you think? He'll tell me if it's good. He will tell me if it's bad. He'll tell me, give me advice. He'll get onto my case. I think you need that. You need someone that you can have an honest conversation with, not just someone who's going to say to you, yeah, you're doing great. If it's not great, right, this is how, and have that conversation, because then you can really, you know, develop your personal skills. And that all stems from going out, getting the qualifications, putting the miles in, building that personal development through qualifications, networking while you're there, get to know other people, get to know other coaches, coach mentors. So for me, it was at the time it was the Time Met staff. You know, asking them for advice, asking them for opportunities. What can I get involved with? What's coming up at the college? What's coming up outside of college? You know, festivals, name it, whatever. And then the coaching buddy. And I think another thing that I always got told was be busy. So be busy to get to where you want to, and when you get there, don't stop, carry on. And that's how the aspiring to be better came about.
And I think, Joe, your passion is around football, but you mentioned there the other qualifications that you added into your portfolio, which I suppose has all been, you know, given you the success of achieving your current job role that you've got now, has it?
Yeah. So by going to other qualifications, Gary, I've learned so much, not just necessarily football.
Yeah.
And obviously, in my role as a PE teacher at the moment, at primary school level, I don't teach sports. I teach skills and skills techniques around it for them to go and use it when they go to high school. So when they go to high school, if they're going to go play basketball, they know how to do basic things, or know how to use it in a game, use it in a modified games. So I play modified games. When they play the actual sports, they know the rules, regulations, they know how to play. They've got a skill technique than anything else. So by doing that, by me going on other qualifications, it brought up my knowledge and my understanding of certain techniques and skills, but also around how to how to engage in different ways. So, you know, in every qualification you go to, whether it's football specific or not, there's always something that you will learn from you again what you just put on there by being open-minded.
Yeah.
So anytime I would go in there, Gary, it wouldn't be, you know, look at me, I know it all, I'm this, I'm that. It's right, okay, I'm here now, right, what can I learn? What can I take back to Biker Primary? What can I take back to my role as a PE teacher? Or before that, what can I take back to help me become a better coach? Not just football, a better coach. Because if I then it can take me to football, non-football, whatever. What can help me become a better coach? And it was by going out there, getting on these courses, meeting new people, listen to what they have to say, learn from that, and then being open-minded. And until now, I'm still the same. Still the same.
Yeah. And you know, I think that takes us nicely to the next slide, where, you know, the sacrifices, I suppose, that most of us have to take on when we're volunteering. And what were the sacrifices that you had to come up against, Joe?
Oh, Gary, sacrifices when you're volunteering is the biggest thing. I'm going to be honest and say that you will have your up and downs because, for example, financial. So at a time when I was trying to get my role as a PE teacher, so I went to college. While I was at college, I was lucky, fortunate enough to work for the college and do that casual coaching job, you see. Um, but when I graduated, I want to do what I do now, which is my dream PE teacher. But to do that, I had to somehow fend for myself to be able to get to what I had to. So at the time, I was working 3 jobs because I had to be in a position to be able to, for example, get myself a car, be able to travel, so I can go and do coaching sessions. So that was a bigger thing. I didn't have the financial backing at the time. From home, I've always had to do stuff myself. So that yet again developed me personally to then go out and do 3, 4 jobs to get to where I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
Um, Transport, for example, I told the coach a story the other day where when I first started coaching a wide open, I was living in Biker and I had to every Saturday morning. I remember this. I had to take 2 buses into town. No, a bus and metro into town, and then a bus from town to wide open just to coach on a Saturday morning. And then I'll finish there and go and play Northern League at a time. But what I would do is when I was playing the Northern League, obviously you get paid whatever you get paid. I used to use that to then pay for my transport so I could go and coach, and still get there. So that yet again, I managed to find a way to make it work to help me get to where I want to go. My bigger ambition was to
Yeah.
become a football coach or a teacher or whatever it might be. Also, work-life balance was key because yes, you get peer pressure. Yes, you get dragged to, oh, let's go and do this, and people will be like, oh, this what you want to do, you want to do that, you change it, this, that. But I never let it get to me because I knew where I want to get to in life and as a career. Um, and for me, it was having that balance within myself that I was still trying to achieve that goal, but giving also that balance of, right, I needed time just to rejiggle my plans where I was at.
Mm.
How can I carry on with that? Commitment was massive, so being committed to what you do, and that also will help with you know, the impression you leave on the people that you volunteer with, or make yourself employable. So commitment is key, guy, because you need to be reliable. You know, I've seen a few people saying, "Yeah, I want to do this. I want to become a football coach. I want to do that." Great, okay, no problem. Come and help. They'll come and do a couple of sessions. Next thing you don't hear from them again. And it's all, if you're gonna do it for me, if I'm gonna do something, put your heart and soul into it. If you know where you're gonna get to, commitment is the biggest key. And if you're committed to what
Mm.
you do and achieve, you can do anything. Not just football or anything. You can achieve anything. But that also links into personal development. So while you're committed or while you're doing it, you're still developing yourself all the time.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting into coaching, it's voluntary sacrifice is a massive, massive aspect that I think young coaches need to, you know, get a head around that in order for them to get to where they want to get to, whether it's a professional football coach or a grassroots coach, whatever they have to, what they put in is what they're going to get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how much they put in is how much they're going to get out. If you only put in half a cup, you're only going to get out half a cup. If you give everything you've got and think that I want to be the best coach that I can be, not just for me, not my reputation, it's about the best coach that I can get, so I can give the best to the kids or people that I work with. Well, then, like Ben Dawson News said, going the extra mile and putting the volunteer focus will eventually lead to that. And hopefully, whether it's employment in sports, whether it's employment as a football coach, whether it's working in an academy setting, whether it's working in a Newcastle Foundation, Stirling Financial, whatever it might be, as long as they can, put a sacrifice and at the same time stay committed and do all those things that we just spoke about, Gary, put in everything they've got, they will get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And what did your volunteer work pathway look like, Joe?
So when I was at college, that picture, funny enough, was when I got made national sports ambassador. Mark McCutcheon helped me with that one. I'll be honest with you and said that he mentored me a lot when I was at college as well, as long as other teachers like Chris Wall and many, many, many other great teachers I met. But what happened with Gary was they put me into positions where I could go out and watch other people. So my first ever placement was a Newcastle Football Development Scheme. I think this is before it became Foundation, right? At Benwell, the old one. and I did a placement with Neil Blakestow, who at the time was our football academy coach. I remember did a football coaching placement where I would go in there, do some stuff, and then at the time I think he used to work at Benfield and run something there. So I would go there and then also go to school set and learn about how he was doing the role and something. And then obviously while I was at time at college, there was loads and loads of voluntary experiences, festivals that was run with primary schools, paid and voluntary. Running projects. So I was running a futsal project for a primary school or a lunchtime coordinator role, doing bits and bobs, gaining experience that way. The national sports ambassador role really, really, Gary, helped me become a better role model because I was one of the 10 in the UK. And it wasn't about me being it was about being able to inspire others. So what I would do is I would go away to Wembley at a time, workshops, media training, everything, name it, and I'll bring it back straight into Tymet. So as soon as I came back, I would sit down with Mark McCutcheon and Chris Wall, Johnny Rees, all my teachers at the time, and say, right, this is what I learned. This is what we got given. Can we now put in practice at the college? And we did like futsal program within the college. I think girls football and other stuff that was set up within the college that way. I had a placement at Newcastle Foundation, coach placement. I think it was 6 weeks, where I would go in and I was allowed to watch all the other coaches. And yet again, luckily through that, I managed to build a great network with them whom I work with through work a lot. And I know I managed to keep a great relationship with a lot of the coaches that work still for the foundation. But that really opened up my eye to wanting, and my hunger and passion to wanting to become a grassroots football coach, because I could see the impact they were having with the kids. And I thought, this is so fun, so I want to do it. So that's when it really started thinking, right, okay, I want to do it now. And then also, before my role at my school was, I didn't have a football job. So my ambition at the time was to work for them. So go and learn, go away, get a qualification that I need to, my level 2, youth mod 1, youth mod 2, get the hours in, learn, to try, and if a position came up, to apply for it. Obviously linking into that, luckily, I was able to coach a wide open juniors, which I still coach now, and help with their soccer skills program, which I think I've been there over 10 years. But yet again, that was a way for me to put everything that I learned into practice. So when I was going, I watch a coach and bringing it back to wide open, get on the grass and put in the practice. If it didn't work, go back to my mentors and say, right, I tried it out, didn't work, or did work. What do you think? Get them to come and observe and develop myself as a coach. So that was great. Until now, I still do that. And then also I was able to go into the academy again at Newcastle and watch shadow or foundation lead coaches, which was fantastic and absolutely loved. And yet again, quite grateful for the opportunity that they gave me, and still until now, openly say whenever you want to come in, just pop in. That goes back to what we talked about previously, your network and your relationship building. And just being able to go and watch and learn and bring it back to, for me, it's the club our coach is wide open. So I now think about, well, what can I go and learn and what can I bring back to the club to help the kids, to help the other coaches, and so on. So those volunteer experience I've been given and the pathway that I've taken so far, if I'm honest with you, Gary, it's also down to the mentors that I've had, down to the colleges that I've been at, down to the people I've been around, but also not being frightened to ask for opportunities, because if I didn't ask, I wouldn't have got them. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what it goes down to again. And if I wasn't open-minded, I wouldn't have been able to do what all the voluntary experiences, because then I would have said to myself, well, I know that I don't need to go there. Well, actually, remaining humble and being open-minded has allowed, unfortunate enough, now and long, hopefully long may it continue, to be able to still go out and volunteer, still go out and learn from all the people that I've learned, and being able to pass it on to others and help others, because that way we can have a bigger impact on the next generation, if you want to call it that. We can have a bigger impact on kids and helping other coaches and kids become better, because one person can't do it all. If more of us can do the same, it's going to have a bigger impact, Gary.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I think, as you can see from that slide, Joe, lots of miles being done there,
Yeah,
which I suppose um, leads us into your current role and how that supported you
yeah,
for you to be able to achieve to being a role model at so many for so many young school children at Baker Primary.
yeah. So, Gary, honestly, all the voluntary experiences that I've done, um, and let's say some part-time pay work and so on, all that helped me build a lot of relationship and networks. So when I graduated, I went to work for a fast feed football academy in Durham, which was great. And I think at the time they put me in the school bike that I'm at, so I was going in and delivering PE. Like for example, if I was working for foundation, you're going to school and deliver PE lessons that way. But when I went to the school, yeah, again, me being open-minded, I managed to build a relationship with the fellow teachers and other, the head, the kids, and I was also at the time living in Baika, so the kids will see me in the supermarket and think I'm some sort of superhero, which is quite great. Um, and from there, by just being open minded, being humble, and put my heart and soul into it, and really doing things for the purely for the kid and want to become better, then obviously I got offered the job that I'm in now. And fortunately enough, if I'm honest with you, when I look across other primary schools, I'll be honest and fortunate, humble enough to say that I don't think there's many actual roles to do what I do. So I'm quite grateful that my head at the time, um, Linda Bradley, had a lot of faith in me to put me into the school and be honest with you, give me the opportunity, because if the opportunity wasn't given, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
But that also was always down to the impression I was able to leave when I was in the school. So, becoming a big role model for the school, because the kids that I work with now, and this is another thing that I was able to relate to personal experiences. So the bike community that I work in now is also the community, certain similar community that I grew up in Holland, multicultural kids from different backgrounds, different surroundings, different challenges. So I was one of them. I was able then to relate straight away and bring it into my role, and kind of help them through sports, through what I learned. So when I came to England, for example, I couldn't speak a word of English. I didn't know how to build a relationship, but it was all through sports that I was able to gain those personal skills, which I'm using now, which has helped me become hopefully a better person, which I can now use in my role and pass on
yeah,
to the kids and the teachers that I'm with. And for me, the biggest thing, Gary, is passion. Every day I wake up, I'll go into work with a smile on my face. And I go in there, I want to make a difference.
yeah,
You get some crazy stories where the kids will tell you go in there, have a laugh. And honestly, when you do with kids and coach kids, there's no better feeling when a kid leaves the lesson or walks in the building or is around school, whatever, or even when I'm going to Morrison's, I'm trying to just do my normal shopping and I see the kids shouting, it's just unbelievable. But it's all the biggest thing for me, Gary, that led to my role, and I was spoken quite a bit. Is my advice to any young coach out there that want to do hopefully what I do or want to become a football coach or whatever, is be open minded. You
yeah,
know, if you're open minded, it will open so many doors for you. If you're open minded, you'll leave such a good reputation, leave a good impression, be able to build networks and relationships with others that one day it will help you to do whatever you want to do, whether it's a football coach, whether it's a basketball, swimming, whatever it might be. Do what I do or whatever, it will help you because being open minded, you start to open doors
yeah,
to where you want to hopefully want to get to. And biggest thing yet again that we spoke a bit quite a lot is going the extra mile. Are you prepared to go an extra mile? So when I was first working for the school that I'm in part time, I would do my role was then at the time just to come in and teach me and go home. But I would do data, I would do Ofsted work, I would do competitions, I would take to festivals, I would name it, I would sports day, name it. Wasn't my role at the time, wasn't my job description. I didn't have to do it. I had a few going to have to do it. But I want to go the extra mile to get to where I wanted to get to. So I would literally say to right, anything else need done, first thing in the building, right? How can I help with what? Last thing out. Is there anything that we need to do? Fee-wise, what can we do? How can we make it by asking questions? And then suddenly it helped me get to where I am. So that's another big advice I'll give to anyone out there is be prepared to go the extra mile. You go the extra mile, put the hours in, the door open.
Yeah. Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure just having this 35 minutes with you to discuss a very inspirational story from yourself. And I suppose the purpose from the County FA and from you, because we discussed this together, was to give other young coaches out there an opportunity to see what can happen if they, aspire, look at role models like yourself to work hard to try to achieve something in life, but especially from sort of the background that you came from as well. So from a BM background, we're looking for more and more coaches, people like yourself to come into the game. Is there anything you would like to add on that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, it's, I've had personal challenges to get to where I get to, but I didn't let it get to me, and I just kept at it. You just have to keep at it. And so what I say to others is, if they want to know about the role that I do or how I got into my role, my email is on there. Twitter, drop me a message. They can come into my school on a placement. I can sort out for them, and they can come and see what it's like to do what I do and how to deal with kids, teach. If they want to come in and do some coaching experience, yet again, let me know. I'll sort something out, whether it's with me or with someone else, to come and coach. Because regardless of, there are times through volunteering, you have up and downs, Gary. There are times it's going to happen. You have your ups, you have your downs. But the biggest thing is keep at it and keep going. And if you want to get somewhere, go for it. Just literally go for it and you will get there. And yet again, I'm fortunate enough to work with kids on a daily basis and teachers and parents, for example. That's another thing, doing coaching the grassroots. Parents have helped me so much, learned so much that I would never ever be able to learn if I wasn't involved with grassroots football, for example. So what I'll say to anyone out there, all the young coaches that up and coming, have got ambitions and dreams to go on and do whatever I want to do, keep that alive, keep working at it. If you need help, support, anything, my contact details on there. Drop me a message, and I'll be able to help as much as I can. I'll do whatever I can to help you, whether it's or put you in contact with someone that I know that can give you opportunity. And if you need advice, again, I'm always willing to speak, have a chat over a Zoom or whatever it might be. And Gary, just to help. The more people we can, get on board, the more young, passionate coaches we can get out there, we can make a massive difference to the next generation.
Absolutely.
And by us putting in the mouths and going out and learning, being open-minded, then hey, the future's looking bright, Gary. That's all I can say. The future's looking bright.
Absolutely, Joe. Well, once again, thank you very much for sharing this story with us, Joe.
No problem. It's been a pleasure, Gary.
We'll speak soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.